This is the video review of the Centaurus Megazord from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, also known as a Steel Starbeast GigaRhinos from Seijuu Sentai Gingaman. And I gotta say, this set is great. I love this set. I got these guys together. I expected this guy would steal the show, but no, this guy right here is where it's at. This guy is great. Now, I am worried about this guy's durability. When I reviewed this guy, I talked about how I think he has gold plastic syndrome plastic in it because he's known for breaking. I've seen some breaks on mine, and these guys come from the era when gold plastic syndrome plastic was used a lot. So I am worried about the durability on both of these guys. But this guy right here, I do believe, is more sturdy than this guy's, because this guy has lots of tiny hinges and is, because it's based on aircraft, lots of thin parts. This guy is based on a large, big, beefy, manly vehicle, so I'm not quite as worried about this guy breaking, but it's still a possibility, so keep that in mind if you're looking around for this guy or if you have this guy. Handle it with a little bit of care. Now, to get started with this guy, I like all the vehicles on these. Some of them are a little bit plain, like this one's kind of plain. It's obviously just a mule for arms. But most of these are pretty neat, and it's not quite obvious what they do. Now, this guy's probably going to be the legs, as I'm sure you can tell, because he's the longest one. And the rest of them don't look like they split apart into enough body parts to be legs, but I like how this guy combines, because it's not quite obvious, and it's very neat. Now, to begin with, we'll look at this little race car looking guy, and I really like the way this guy looks. It's very neat, rolls quite well, and is just overall pretty cool. Now, to transform it, you will rotate the wheels back. You'll pop this out, and then you take this, you pop it out, and this is the head, and you rotate it around to the other side. And this will come into play later, and we'll just leave this like this for now and put it off to the side. Next, we will take this thing, and we do absolutely nothing to transform it. This was actually kind of interesting, because it's sort of a filler piece, but it's also the chest. It's kind of neat. I'll show you how it works when we get to that point. So, put this off to the side. And then we come to this piece, and I really like the way this thing transforms. I love the way it looks, too. It's some sort of a strange rover thing. It's very much a 1980s look of what a space rover would look like. Like, I remember having several Lego sets that were like Mars Explorers, things that looked exactly like this. So, this is a very good nostalgia piece for me. Transform this, you will pop these up. And by the way, this thing has a ton of die-cast. Like, all of this is die-cast. And then you'll take this, and you'll pop it up over these antennae. Whereas, do be careful because you can sometimes do this, and it does sort of give them hip-mounted lasers, but they are soft plastic, so do be a little bit careful with them. I usually just do this to be safe. Then you take this, put it off to the side. Then you take these guys, or this guy, and pop it apart. Rotate the fist forward, and rotate out the connector bits. And put these off to the side, and now we get to the last thing that needs to be transformed. Now here's the helmet. I don't know of a good place to put it. I usually just put it on top of here. If anyone knows where it's actually supposed to like store or clip on anywhere in the vehicle modes, let me know, because I haven't been able to find anything. Like, I thought that I might be able to sort of tab in on the bits down here or something, and it kind of works, but it doesn't really end up working. So the helmet's a bit of a free-floating part, which is a bit of a shame, but oh well. And this is the last vehicle. I don't quite like how it looks. I think it's a bit too long, and obviously legs, because there's nothing under here to disguise that it's just hollow, so it can form together to be legs. But I do think it's neat, and I do like the way it transforms. Because right now, the legs are locked apart. And the way you unlock them is you fold up these little pants bits, which make them hinge down. But I don't want to do that quite yet. I want to split these first. And actually, these right here, I think, are the only parts I think are actually fragile, because they're somewhat thin hinges that have very strong clip systems associated with them. So to transform them does mean you have to put a little bit of force against them, that a bit more than I'm comfortable with for the potential presence of gold plastic syndrome plastic. Now, anyway, you put the heel up like this and the feet up like this. You pop these up again, and then bring them down, and they will combine to form the legs. And strangely enough, I think this actually looks a bit like a better vehicle than the actual vehicle mode does. Kinda. This area up here still looks kind of bad, but down here, this actually looks like a pretty neat vehicle, or it would if they were closer together. And one last thing to mention about this is that these entire shin areas are die-cast metal. And yeah, these are the legs, and now we can start putting this guy together. So here we have the legs. Rotate up the camera. Then you take this guy, and this guy will, on these clips here, clip onto these tabs right here. Just goes on like that. Then you take this guy, and this is actually really neat how this works. You see how there's a bit of a curve to the cockpit here? There's the same curve on the inside here. So this cockpit ends up inside of here. And like I said, this thing doesn't do anything to transform. It's just kind of there. It's a filler piece, but it's a very nice filler piece, and it's kind of refreshing that all of these have something to do to transform, but one doesn't. It sort of sets it apart and makes it kind of interesting. And then you take these, and they will clip into place. And the final thing we'll do is we'll attach the race car bit. That's the head. And the way that works is there's a little tab right here that will clip into here. And then you'll bring it down, and there's a clip right here for this tab right here. And here we have the Centaurus Megazord all combined, except for the helmet, which goes on like this. And I love that combination sequence. It's just great, it's brilliant, it's got lots of nice little twists and turns to it, and even some places are just simple for the sake of being simple. It's got a little bit of everything. And that's just really good. It's really why I like this guy. And then also, even though he does have quite a bit of black on him, he has a very bright and vibrant color scheme. So whereas this guy was kind of dark and drab and a little bit hard to see unless you had great lighting, this guy is just always big, beefy, fun, bright, easy to see. It's just a really fun toy. I really like him. And he has something that a lot of Megazords don't have. Head articulation. Otherwise, you only get shoulder articulation and wrist articulation. Otherwise, you don't get anything, but he does have something else to sort of make up for him, which is wheels on his feet, so he can roll around. So even though he's a kind of brickish Megazord, because like everything from the neck down, except for the arms, is just a brick, he is sort of mobile, and I do appreciate that. He is just a very fun figure. Now, the one thing that I do regret is I don't actually have his weapons, and I don't know if they would improve my opinion on this figure, but it would actually be kind of hard to improve my figure on this guy, because I just like him a lot. He's a really good figure. Anyway, this has been my review of the Centaurus Megazord. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. And be sure to check out our Facebook page down below in the video description. Thank you for watching.